am spamming refresh as we speak, and... All right then, hello there everybody, and welcome to the Storytime Network, where today we're gonna weeb out again. Isn't that great?
Woohoo!
So, in today's Weebery, we'll be talking about probably the greatest weeb property of all that has ever weebed, One Piece, which is just agnostically a phenomenal series, and I think if you haven't read it, go read it.
Please
But
do, yeah.
maybe watch the anime instead, if only because then you don't have to read to mistake Zoro's name as Zolo forever.
That's still gonna annoy
Yeah.
the shit out of us.
Joining us is the usual crew: Mill,
Hello, I'm exhausted again.
Jack, Jack,
Hello there.
Hogstar,
Hello.
who is, as always, our blind guest, and Usopp is rightly terrified considering what he is in close proximity to. I feel bad for him. He can be a frustrating character at times, but like I wouldn't wish the fate that he is suffering right now standing next to that abominable thing.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be Chopper who's hidden behind Logstar's picture.
Rip Chopper.
Mike Wazowski'd him, Logstar.
I'd apologize,
thing-
but like there was no other better choice for a picture.
The dumbest thing always comes to mind when I think Tony Chopper now. Just the dumbest damn thing.
Please elaborate. We always like to hear these.
The way I always hear it, I was like, Tony Chopper, and then the guitar riff just comes in. I picture it starting down around A flat, for the record.
You know what? Chopper is deserving of a sick riff. So I think
just the name itself sounds like something you'd do that with. And just for the record, with A flat, I specifically do not hear an 8-string. It is a ridiculously down-tuned 7-string.
I don't know what any of this means, but I'm guessing it's ludicrous.
Just number guitar strings, just how far down it's being tuned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know like what a guitar is at this point, so I'm kind of just like, you know what? Great, okay. But yes, Logstar is our resident blind reviewer, which is always a fun time.
AKA the idiot.
Look,
Don't put yourself down, man.
yeah, no, it's fine. We were all there once at one point, right? There was a time when we had not read One Piece, and our lives were much worse because of that.
Yeah. Such a tragedy.
Yes.
But anyways, let's talk about the Skypiea
Mel.
saga.
Mel.
Okay, you actually can't have me summarize these ones because I didn't actually reread them. So,
Yeah, no, that's fair. Logstar, do you want to give us your impressions of the Jaya arc?
Wait 1 second, I'm sorry. Wait, everything pre-Skypiea?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have fun with that one. I take on that one. Well, I do like I'm trying to figure out how to say this one. I like the fact, just the way there are anime logic, plausible explanations for things like the knock-up current. Have a lot of fun with that. See, of course, excitement over the bounties is always another fun one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What did you think of the major players getting introduced in the Jaya arc?
Well,
Actually, you know what? Let's just in the event that you are for some reason watching this without having read One Piece, which if you are, why? But like, so the Jaya arc takes place after Alabasta's been cleared, and introduces Robin as a crew member.
By the way, new
And-
favorite character.
Robin's
Really? I mean, I understand. Like, there's a lot to like about Robin, but why exactly? Like, what's your what do you like about her in particular?
Well, I mean, one thing, the entire Poneglyph, true Poneglyph part, just in love with that. Best thing I want to see the end of more than anything else so far. That's one of the big ones.
Oh, you and
History is a
you and me
good
both.
one.
Believe me, everyone wants to see.
Oh, the true history is one of One Piece's best mysteries. That's
Yeah.
gonna be fun when that gets unraveled.
Yeah, screw the One Piece. I just want to know that part.
I mean,
About that.
they're probably very close.
Well, yes.
leaving.
Well, I know they're gonna be close, but just the angle I'll be going at it from.
Fair enough.
enough.
Yeah. So I do like her passion for history is definitely very likable. I will say, Robin doesn't get as much focus until the next set of arcs.
Oh yeah.
She's kind of on probation at this point. Like, you might even.
I mean, part of
say-
the reason that Jaya and Skypiea are important is that they give Robin time to kind of develop as a crew member in the background a little bit and show her.
or she takes
starting
center
to
stage.
develop,
Yeah.
develop some stronger bonds with the crew members on a fun little diversionary adventure.
Before introducing any like more serious stakes.
Yes.
Jaya also introduces Bellamy, who I'm sure will not be important ever again. Also introduces Jaya's very own Cherry Pie Man.
Oh yes.
A man who is just a resident of Jaya and just very much enjoys cherry pies, and there's nothing else significant about him at all.
I'm fairly sure it gets revealed at the end of this who he is, though.
He does. He gets
Yeah, but
revealed at the
let
end of
me,
Jaya.
let me have the bit.
But yeah,
No, but
funnily
like,
enough,
oh,
Blackbeard, one of the biggest, most important characters in the series, is first shown up just as a background character in a panel. And
this is also one of the only times in history that Oda has explicitly lied in an SBS.
Oh?
Yeah. There's when asked who Blackbeard was in an SBS, Oda was just like, "Oh, that's just Cherry Pie Man. He kind of just like lives in Jaya and eats cherry pie.
Okay.
He's no
So
one
this was
important."
between
This
him
was
being
between
introduced
reveals. Yeah.
and
This was
being
between
revealed.
volumes. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Blackbeard and Whitebeard, just the things came to mind. Okay, the Straw Hats are on Blackbeard's radar. We know that. We know Shanks is trying to get some stuff to Whitebeard, and he's like, "No, just come yourself." Okay, we've got plenty on the radar right there too. That was a fun one.
I mean,
Hmm.
Luffy's
And of course-
brother is a member of Whitebeard's crew. Let's not forget that little detail.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, I just keep going. Buggy's back and has met Whitebeard. People are worried about Shanks and Whitebeard actually meeting. This is getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, this
It's very
starts
much
becoming
like-
much more relevant in the next
Yeah, so
saga and afterwards.
so this is getting to the point where the world stage is becoming so much more relevant, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they aren't just little. Babby time is over.
Mm-hmm.
It's big boy pirate time now, especially since Luffy's broken the 100 million. Sorry, because inflation is ridiculous in this world. Like seriously, what is the cost of a loaf of bread? Right?
I don't know.
Well, like, the currency is based on yen, isn't it? So it doesn't have like.
Yeah, but even then, it's just like
I mean, the price
100
of
million. Like throwing 100 million out there is like,
you forget that the world government is also obscenely wealthy.
Yeah.
yeah, but like, what is the cost of a price of bread then? Right?
Probably like a few hundred berry.
And it's tempting to try taking Sanji's little thing on the price to enter Skypiea, putting it in terms of rice. It's so tempting to try doing numbers off that, but no, not going to do it.
No, it's not worth it.
Also,
I feel like it's good for your sanity to not do that.
I also do want to ask what your impression of Whitebeard is. Because this is the first time we're seeing him. And what an introduction he has.
The first thought was, I'm pretty sure the ladies are not midgets. It's like, I'm just like, okay, how many pages would it take to show the whole guy?
They are not midgets, no.
No, the thing
So
is,
we
like,
do not say
characters
that
in One Piece, some characters in One Piece are just abnormally huge even though they're human. Like, I think Whitebeard is, what, 18 feet tall or something?
Yeah, he's like 18 feet tall. So basically, in One Piece, rather than the average height of a human being being like... like, instead of the range being like 4 to 6 feet for a healthy human being, it's like 3 to 22 feet, roughly.
Yeah.
According to the
natural non-giant human beings, because there's like giant hybrids as well, but like we're talking non-giant human beings.
According to the One Piece,
and the distribution is pretty out there.
Yeah, according to the One Piece wiki, he is 666 centimeters or 21 feet 10 inches.
Fucking hell.
Of course he's 666 centimeters tall. Why wouldn't he be?
Fucking... Oh, that's the world's strongest man for you.
Yeah, so the first impression is his size. Now, considering that this is supposedly one of the most powerful pirates in the world, and also the guy meeting him is Luffy's kind of dad, what is this, like, is this your first look at, like, Shanks' actual level relative to the rest of the major players of the world?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's like, he was somewhat on the radar before, but now it's, I mean, for high players, but it's like, goes up to that level, okay. Yeah, they're straight up worried about, Shanks and Whitebeard coming together on this one. I mean, that's not a normal level right there.
Yeah.
Even by,
if
in
the
my
entire
Grand Line standards.
Yeah, if the entire government and like the pirating world as a whole is worried about two people meeting up, then those two people matter a lot. Now, you guys chat and tell bad jokes. I gotta take care of my dog real quick. She's making a bit of a fuss.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily the first time we saw how important Shanks was, because obviously we got that little bit with Mihawk. Yeah, but certainly Speaking of Mihawk, the Warlords of the Sea.
Oh yeah, we're introduced to two more Warlords of the Sea in Kuma and Doflamingo, who are very interesting characters and also have the highest bounties we've seen so far at this point, in the 300 million range.
Yeah,
and that's right after Luffy got his bounty of 100 million.
And of course, Don Quixote.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things where you're a little offended because you're like, you're gonna make me say that name. You're really gonna make me say that. Is there any way to say that name and not sound stupid?
You can just call him Dofi.
Either call him Doflamingo on its own or Duffy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that full name.
No, that's fine.
It crushes my soul to say that.
Oda has some really fun and terrible names.
He does get an even easier name later on, but it's easy to get it mixed up with other characters. So
yeah, but in all honesty, Doflamingo is a real interesting character when we first meet him, because we're introduced to him as he walks into Marijua to attend a meeting with some other warlords and high-level Navy guys, including the Fleet Admiral, Sengoku, who is also an interesting character who we will get more on later. But Doflamingo's actual establishing character moment is puppeteering two Marines to try to kill each other. which tells you a lot about him.
Yeah.
That he would do that in Navy headquarters and not give a shit about the consequences.
Oh, this is also the arc where we meet the Five Elders.
Oh, yeah. We meet a lot of big players in this arc. And it's like, wow, Oda's just laying a bunch of world-building stuff, isn't he?
I mean, the Five Elders are particularly interesting to me because back just after the fuck, what was the name? Oh god, I'm a history student. I shouldn't be blanking on this. This is what I get for playing Civil Day. Fuck, the 1860 Revolution. I can't remember what it's called, which is bad. I did a whole fucking module on this.
Which one? In Japan?
In Japan, yeah.
Meiji Restoration, right?
Meiji Restoration, thank you very much. After the Meiji Restoration, approaching the start of the 20th century, the Japanese government was pretty much controlled by a group of basically aging leaders who swapped the prime ministership around them for a good 20-25 years. And I remember learning about them. I can't remember exactly what their name was, but it's very similar to the Japanese name for the Five Elders, the Gorosei. And just thinking, Oda, you madman, you've done it again.
He just loves these historical illusions.
Fairly sure I messaged about it, so I'll try and find it.
Yeah, beyond all the big world building stuff, though, the real meat of the arc is just Luffy and co arriving on Jaya, trying to find some information about Sky Islands, and eventually Luffy decking a dude so hard he caved his face in and broke the boardwalk beneath him.
Yeah. Oh, poor Bellamy. Poor Bellamy.
I'd feel bad for him if he wasn't such an asshole.
Well, it did just get worse for him, so, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, a very nice, nice callback. Luffy, refusing to fight at first, acting like Shanks did in the first chapter.
Oh yeah, that was really nice. Yeah, it's really kind of funny to just see Luffy and Zoro. Not funny. It's really nice to see Luffy, Zoro, and Nami just going around Mocktown together because I love the dynamic those three have. They've been original trio from near the beginning of the manga, and they just have such a great group dynamic between the three of them.
Yeah. Also interesting is what what's his face? What Luffy and Zoro said as Blackbeard walked away from them.
Oh yeah. So many. I don't want to say any details about that because it's for much later down the line stuff, but very good foreshadowing.
It's something to keep in mind because it's something I forgot until I reread that particular arc.
Oh yeah. There's also the fact that when Blackbeard when Luffy tells Blackbeard his supposed bounty of 30 million at the time, Blackbeard tells him that there's no way that can be true, but it's not because he thinks it's too high for Luffy.
Yeah.
It's because he thinks it's way too low.
Yeah.
Because he can recognize the potential that Luffy has.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's interesting that, as much as they are different, and as much as they are basically freaking opposites, they've got one similarity, which is, they believe in the era of pirates.
They believe in dreams. They're both very big dreamers.
Yeah.
And Blackbeard's speech to Luffy is really cool and really interesting.
It really makes you think about, like, it's very much one of those fun little foil moments in which, so this is possibly what Luffy could have been if things had gone worse.
Yeah. No,
Blackbeard is very much a dark reflection of Luffy.
Yeah.
At least from what we've seen so far in this.
Which is always fun. Always fun to explore.
Oh yeah, Logstar, I don't think we got your impression on Blackbeard.
Well, I mean, you really said most of it already. I mean, I only went to the those were really the more obvious things. That's really all I was picking. That's really the biggest part I was picking up. I am trying not to assume too much about it right now, though. That's the problem.
I mean, it's fun to hear your theories.
Well, I mean,
it is fun to hear theories.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing is there seem to I know there are definitely going to be quite a few things I'm not seeing coming. So I'm trying to avoid. Well, I'm definitely thinking certain things are coming back up, and the obvious ones. But yeah, I'm mainly listening on this one.
There's also Blackbeard's crew to consider as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Considering the fact that I also really like the fact that Zoro is not the only, Luffy's not the only one who noticed that they're like a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zoro
this is one of the this is just so I kind of feel like it's understated that Zoro and Luffy are kind of on the same wavelength on a lot of things. Like, it's very fitting that he's the first mate.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're very, very much
in sync with each other a lot of the time.
In lockstep, like certain other individuals and groups, which I'm not going to mention at the moment, but, you know, I'm sure it's not some sort of Generation Xerox style parallel.
Clearly not.
Yeah, but it's just one of... Yeah?
Their dynamic is really interesting, both with each other and with Nami, because, as I said to Mill while you were away, the original video's dynamic is just one of the best in the series.
They're very much... I mean, they are family, obviously. Something Ohana means family. But also,
I thought they were Nakama.
Yes, that also means family. There's many words for family.
Mm-hmm.
But their whole thing is that they're very in sync with each other, so they can basically tell what the others are thinking, even when they really don't like what the others are thinking. No, let's be real. That's mostly Nami, just constantly cursing her.
The one in possession of the crew's of the trio's singular brain cell.
I mean, Nami is apparently the third smartest person we've seen in the East Blue Arc, and considering the fact that it's on a list with Ben Beckman, I'm kind of tempted to say, you know what? Let's give her some more credit.
She has two brain cells.
Both crew,
both devoted to money.
Of the crew, the only characters I can see being potentially smarter than Nami are Chopper and Robin. Just because Chopper is a doctor at 15.
I think the thing about Chopper is that Chopper is incredibly book smart, but has zero street smarts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's incredibly naive, but he is legitimately intelligent.
In terms of raw intelligence, yes, he is probably beats out even Robin, I think, because especially considering the events.
What we find out about Robin in the next arc pretty much cements her as probably one of the smartest characters in the series.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's kind of an early time to get to that level. So.
Yeah, no. The fact that she outright tells Usopp that she became an archaeologist at age 8 basically says, she was as smart as an adult when she was an 8-year-old.
But to be fair, so was Chopper, right? Chopper became a doctor when he was a literal baby.
No, he became a doctor, I think. Kureha minted him as a doctor basically right before he left.
No, but he started learning when he was basically an infant, right?
No,
he's 15 now.
He started learning.
How long ago was
he
here? Yeah, so he was 8.
He was 8 when he started. Robin was 8 when she finished.
Chopper does also have the advantage of having a devil fruit that, you know, gives him, you know, super intelligence.
No, it doesn't really do that, does it?
It made him gave him human intelligence.
Yeah, it gave him human intelligence, but not like the peak of human intelligence. That's mostly on him.
It certainly seems like it gave him really high intelligence. But honestly, we're just really debating a moot point
considering
here because...
how anthropomorphized just regular animals are in this series, but how are we to say that it's not the reindeer side that makes him such a good doctor? Yeah, considering what series we're talking about.
We are debating a moot point though, because all three are very clearly intelligent in their own.
But yeah, no, the monster trio don't have a brain cell between the three of them.
No, in fact, I think he has a singular brain cell.
No.
The problem is most of the time it's horny.
No. Not Sanji has negative brain cells because of the horniness. He loses brain cell points for horniness.
That's fair, yes.
I will say
they all have their moments of intelligence, but they basically split a single brain cell 3 ways, and it doesn't work very well.
I'm just gonna say, just going back like certain Chopper things, I will say that with all the dysfunctional, let's just call them dysfunctional dynamics on the ship, Chopper just seems like the one where it's the most pure and like least dysfunctional by quite a bit.
Chopper is our pure son, yes. I mean, again, the fact that he's like physically he's only like 15 years old, and emotionally he's even younger, considering the fact that he spent a decent amount of that time as a reindeer. So, you know, he's basically a literal child.
Yeah, basically.
Unlike certain other children, he's not horny about it.
Let's not worry about that right now. Anyways, back to Jaya.
Did we talk about the Bellamy fight?
We talked about...
I can only assume you're using...
generous word for it.
I was going to say, I can only assume you're using quote marks for that.
Look, we call it a fight mainly because it took up some of Luffy's time.
The Bellamy curb stomp, I feel, would be more appropriate.
No, Bellamy did dealt damage to Luffy's lifespan by taking up like 6 minutes of his life. Like not just the whole fight itself, but not the punch itself, but more the time leading up to it. He kind of just wasted Luffy's time in that regard. So it's kind of just like, yeah, no, we can consider this a fight.
I do have to say, I find it hilarious that like once everyone else in Mocktown finds out about Luffy's actual bounty, plus Zoro's for that matter, everyone's freaking out, but Bellamy's all confidence, and then he gets his face caved in. And everyone else the fuck out.
Foxar, what did you think of Bellamy? And especially, like, Bellamy is someone who 3 arcs ago would have been the main bad guy. And would have undergone, like, a grueling fight to the death. Now, this is really just... Bellamy is the Worf effect, right? He exists to showcase Luffy's growth.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically just, that was short.
Yeah.
That was more or less it. It's like, that was, that's it, and of course, then the guy whose name I can't say because it hurts my soul. Of course, that one was just, you know, it was expected, but, you know, either way, that was short.
Okay. Go Flamingo. Logstar doesn't like how elaborate his name is.
No, it's just so dumb that it hurts my soul to say it, you know? The name is so bad. As I said, it like offends my soul because of how dumb the name is. That's the point. So I'm never gonna say that again. I said it once, that's enough.
The funny thing is, he's actually a pretty terrifying character once we see more of him.
I also forgot you met him.
He's already shown that, you know, he can basically, like, murder everyone, so...
Oh, you have no idea how accurate that statement is.
Like, the early warlords introduced are actually some of the strongest characters in the series.
Yeah, we meet the top 3 warlords, arguably, right?
Arguably, yeah.
Kuma, Mihawk, and Doffy.
Flamingo, and Doffy, yeah. Crocodile is actually also really strong. It's just...
Crocodile is strong, he's just an idiot. Right? That's the thing, is he was just holding the idiot ball and running with it.
Things just aligned very poorly for Crocodile. He was matched up against one of the most stubborn people alive, and his sanity did not stand a chance against that.
Not as poorly as Eneru matched up with Luffy, which I feel is probably a good segue into Skypiea.
We didn't talk about like the Montblanc family though.
Talk about Cricket or the Monkey Alliance.
I mean, it's sort of.
We don't care about the Monkey Alliance.
It's related.
Well, yes, Cricket is directly related to. Oh, I will say another last note about Jaya in general is that I love the fact that it's such a neat little reflection of the Shanks incident.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. No. That's.
I also do appreciate that it's a nice breather after Alabasta.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of a nice transition point into the larger world of the setting from like the early Grand Line stuff. Because after this, we go into the big leagues.
I mean, funny enough, Eneru is pretty close to the big leagues, all things considered. Though we've established that he would.
One fun fact is that Oda actually answered in the SBS that if Eneru was a pirate on the Blue Seas, he would have a bounty of about 500 million.
Which was the highest bounty stated until the time skip.
Yeah. So it's kind of bonkers to see Luffy fight against an opponent of that caliber this early on in the series.
It's like this is also the last time a Logia will be presented with a heart counter.
Yeah.
Does it happen to Crocodile with water, and it also happened to... Okay, Logstar, thoughts on the entire existence of Skypiea?
The entire existence of Skypiea, well, at least you understand why Eneru's like, no, the entire existence of this is wrong. At least you get that much. You definitely understand that much, but... Let's see.
No, like, just the fact that it exists on a meta level. What are your thoughts?
The fact that it exists, well, I mean, it's just a fun thing to work with, you know. I mean, in that sense, I mean, it's exactly the sort of thing you'd want to put in, you know, just because they do have to set up the entire story with Noel and the Liar. They have to set it up. There are really only two ways to set that up: down or up, right? And down was already dealt with. It's got to be up, right? I mean, just at that level. Just necessity plot-wise.
Yeah, and the knock-up stream, the hilariously named, I don't think Oda really considered the English implications of that term.
So glad it wasn't just me.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, it is pretty... Logstar mentioned this, but I do appreciate that Oda actually tried to make at least a somewhat plausible scientific explanation that made sense in world, while also giving justification for why that theory might not be true, because no one's idiotic enough to actually try to check how a knock-up stream works.
Well, does a knock-up stream work? I forget this explanation.
I'm pretty sure it's been determined that there are plenty of people dumb enough to do any given thing in this world.
True, but
especially
no
in the
one
One
is
Piece
dumb
world.
enough to do it and to come back alive.
That's the problem. Somebody may have figured it out, and will never see the remains.
Yes. So the knock-up stream basically apparently works in theory by water flowing into an underground cave, being superheated by the magma that's close to the bottom of the cave, and then it eventually builds up into a steam explosion that propels a shitload of water into the sky.
That actually is incredibly plausible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure there's that happens on a small... That's basically just an underwater volcano at that point, and that kind of already exists.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with anime science standards. It's like, just change the order of magnitude a bit. Just take something real, add 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros, and you're good, right?
Basically.
That's a very astute very good way of putting it, honestly. I've never thought of it like that.
And the knockup stream is fucking huge, too. Like, it straight up carries a Sea King up into the air and blows apart Blackbeard.
The fact that it's like a thick shaft of liquid that knocks people up is just kind of really Oda. I feel like this is one of the few times where Oda didn't know he was being horny.
So anyway, anime science. I like how the skyfish evolved differently. Hey, moving along.
Yeah.
Look.
Once we get to actual Skypiea, it also gets real fun. I will say it is funny that Luffy and the rest adjust really quickly to the thinner air at Mount Everest heights, and Gonfal's like, no, that's not how that works. How are you doing that?
Yeah, no. This is one of the first times we kind of see a more isolated bubble reacting, because everyone else has kind of seen like these are up and coming people. We know that pirates can be pretty crazy, but this is the first time we see a more isolated cluster of people being like, what is wrong with you people? Why are you so obscenely powerful?
The entire Straw Hat crew are a bunch of freaks of nature, but especially the monster trio. Like it's kind of ridiculous. And Zoro and Sanji do not have devil fruit. They are just superhumanly strong.
Which, to be fair, a lot of the strongest people on Earth are in that camp, right?
True. I don't know if it's been stated explicitly in text at this point, but Shanks does not have a devil fruit.
Well, no, because he can swim.
Yeah.
It's implied since he can swim.
Yeah. Neither does any of his crew, I believe.
Yeah.
And that comes up much later.
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah, I don't think it comes up in story though. I think it's more. I think it's in SBS, isn't it?
It's implied, but it's like it makes more sense later on when you understand the theming reasons for it.
Yeah. But no, they adapt really quickly to being at Mount Everest heights, which under normal circumstances it does not work that way. Things do not work that way.
Since when has anyone on that crew cared about things like even they're like stupid even by like in-world logic and rules, right? They don't even follow that.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, there aren't many of the certainly the monster trio doesn't give a shit about the laws of science.
In or out of universe, yes.
They're basically like the science version of that science can't stop me because I can't read.
Yeah.
That's how Sanji cooked that fish so quickly.
Exactly.
Yep. But yeah, once they get up to Skypiea, things get crazy. Skypiea is like the first taste of the truly weird shit that One Piece can throw at you.
Yeah, Sky Island by itself is not an original concept, but the fact that he took the time to like detail like the mechanics behind the various different types of clouds in the universe, and it's just
and also the dials. The dials are fun.
Dials are tasty.
Also, I do have to say it is very good. It is very nice of Oda to talk about dials and introduce them before they get used in combat.
Yeah, not enough people do that, huh?
Yeah, no, it's very
You're also introduced in this arc to mantra, which I am sure is not at all important or relevant in the greater scope of the series at all.
Totally not going to be relevant later. Not at all. No siree.
And also, we're never going to see Nami's new waiver again. I'm sure. But that's his own thing.
Oh, no, Nami's waiver is shown in the next arc.
That was the point.
That was the joke, yes. That was the joke.
Yeah, I get that. But anyways, mantra is definitely an interesting thing, an interesting concept, and it is really fun to see it in action. But also, like the first time we see it in action is actually in the fight against Satori, right?
I think so, right? He's the one that dodges everything
yes.
and they can't hit him. Yes, yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That Satori is annoying as fuck, but the fight is pretty funny.
And apparently, so there's like a survival rates for all of the trials. Apparently, his is supposed to have a 5% survival rate, but because he's
it's a 10% for Satori.
Who's the one where it's supposed to be a 5% survival rate, but because the guy inside is an idiot, it's a 50% success rate?
It's Gadatsu.
Okay, yes, that guy.
Yeah, Gadatsu has a 50% survival rate because he's such an idiot. Whereas others have unsurprisingly low survival rates. I think Shura's is like a 5% and Ohm has a 0%.
Tell that to Zoro.
I mean, there's almost kind of a running theme of Zoro just straight up defying death all the time. Because, like, he defies a cursed sword and doesn't get his arm lopped off. And he straight up fucking survives what's supposed to be an unsurvivable trial. It's like he's blessed by the gods or some shit.
Yeah, he'll be unconscious, but that's it.
Yeah.
He won't even be unconscious for that long. He'll just be unconscious for like a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I also gotta say, I do find it hilarious that Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp were all of the same mind when it comes to swinging from vines.
They did all do the Tarzan yell, yes.
Yeah.
Explicitly in the anime, they all did the Tarzan yell.
Yeah. It's pretty explicit in the manga, too. Like, Usopp even names his grappling hook belt the, Usopp, yeah. I love these idiots.
Usopp and Luffy doing it is, like, fine, but this is another showing of, yes, Zoro is also an idiot. People forget that sometimes.
Zoro, not just Zoro doing it, but Zoro saying that Nami's went badly because she didn't do the call.
People forget that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, some people are like, oh, but Zoro's too serious all the time. No.
Also,
that's serious and
sense of direction
are two different things.
His sense of direction also starts to become a running gag in this arc.
Yeah.
Like, or rather, the lack of a sense of direction. Because, my god, Zoro gets lost so fucking easily.
Well, this is the arc where he was trying to go south, had a bird that always points south, and still didn't manage to go south.
Yeah, he was walking in the opposite fucking direction until the bird strap picked him up and flew him.
Which we didn't even, which the bird did not want to do, by the way. The bird, like, didn't even want to help them, but it just, seeing the idiot be an idiot for so long just frustrated the bird to the point that it was like, you know what? I would rather...
The bird grabbed Zoro's bag because it thought it had food in it. That's what happened. And
probably
also
the worst
the bird
decision it ever made.
Mm-hmm.
The bird dropped Zoro because the giant-ass snake was trying to eat, or so it thought.
Oh yeah, there is a giant-ass snake in this arc. It eats Luffy as well.
Yeah, that was funny. Luffy gets unexpectedly devoured by a snake.
And takes forever to figure out how to get out, unlike others who just kind of get out.
Yeah. I love the reactions from everyone who finds out he was in there. Like, wait, you've been the one who's been punching the snake?
Yeah, he didn't know that Luffy kind of has a habit of, like, abusing animals that he doesn't know are friends.
He does it on accident, so it's not like he does it on purpose.
No, but, like, he has a tendency to beat up friendly animals even because he doesn't know that they're friendly.
But yeah,
Oh, by the way, according to TV tropes, the Funimation dub apparently referenced Zoro's real name.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Apparently, again, I'm going off TV tropes. I haven't watched the Funimation dub because the only way for me to legally watch the anime is to buy every volume of it, and it is so expensive. But apparently, at one point, Usopp says, "We've got 0, and I mean Zoro. No, I mean Zolo chances. No, I mean 0 chances." Wonder how Zoro's doing.
That's actually a pretty clever wordplay gag.
Yeah.
It is, and I'm mad. I'm
yeah,
mad because it's clever.
As long as we're going into random ones, just one thing I picked up where it feels like there's something here that I didn't pick up, I didn't notice. Did you, like, when entering Heaven's Gate, and I know that's a common term. Funny thing is, like, from my perspective, I always have connotations. There are always connotations to that term, if you know what I'm talking about, even though I know it's not intentional. But the one in X-Tolls, I was like, wait, there's an exchange rate for X-Tolls to berries? Huh. And it's like you kind of start thinking how there's a lot more of a connection than they're letting on if there's enough of one to have an exchange rate. That's probably just reading way too much into it.
No, this is Oda. That's actually a very good catch. Considering who we're talking about, that very well might actually be hinting at something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, remember, this is...
gotta be on the lookout for all the details, because sometimes they do become relevant again.
That one just struck me as kind of a weird one that felt like, it's like, is it reading into it too much, or is there something there that's just...
A good rule of thumb with Oda is you're never reading into it too much. Ever.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's just the best rule of thumb to go by whenever you're talking about One Piece, is just like, even if you are reading into it too much, it's very, very rare that something like that happens.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I will also say, like, the Skypiea arc does a really good, relating to the Heaven's Gate a little bit, Skypiea does a really good job setting up Eneru as a tyrannical monster, like, from well before we actually meet him.
Oh, he's very much not likable in the slightest, yes.
Yeah.
But well before we meet him, we get the very clear hints of a tyrannical regime with straight up Big Brother vibes going on. And
oh yeah, the fact that his mantra covers the entire island, and as a result, he's basically omniscient in Skypiea.
Oh
also, are we gonna talk about the fact that he has future sight?
Oh yeah, it's very limited, but he has it.
And the fact that, like, Oda revealed that this was a thing before he actually talked about how it works.
We can talk about it more when it gets properly revealed.
600 chapters, guys. Almost 600 chapters in advance.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more when it comes up in the story. But yeah, Oda loves laying him some groundwork.
Yeah, Loxar, that should give you an idea. Considering the fact that there's a 600 chapter gap between the revelation of a power and the fact that the power is actually relevant, you are not reading too much into the exchange rate thing.
Okay, well, yeah, because we know we're seeing the guy again. So I mean, we know that one. So that one's dead obvious.
Yeah.
Oda really does not like to kill off his characters because he almost always reuses at least some of them later on.
Even if it's not like in an actual, thing, he just reuses them in a cover story. Yeah.
But yeah, with the introduction of mantra and Eneru's particularly extreme level of just mastery of it, which is all sorts of insane, and how, holy shit, the fact that it pairs extremely well with Eneru's devil fruit.
Yeah, so the fact that he's like kind of almost semi-realistically going as fast as lightning should go, right? Like the fact that his lightning is basically undodgeable because it's actually traveling at the speed of a lightning strike.
Yeah.
That he's so fast because he can travel at that speed. Honestly, it just makes Wiper kind of more impressive, huh?
It does.
But yeah, Loxar, what are your impressions of the supporting characters introduced in Skypiea?
Okay, let me go through the entire list. Meanwhile, let me first of all, when it gets into the actual Shandian thing, everything going on. Well, Gen 4 coming back around, being the removed kami who's about to may have found a way to find some peace for that long conflict, though that's one of them where that didn't seem too secure.
Yeah, that didn't work out so well.
Yeah, that was a best case maybe sort of thing that he seemed to have more faith in than the flashbacks would seem to imply.
Yeah, he maybe shouldn't have put all his eggs in that particular basket. In hindsight.
And he seems to still think that was going to be a thing. Well, Wiper, yeah, he does. You do get where he's coming from eventually, but man, he just wants to nuke things to some degree. And in fact, the whole thing, there was a lot more people killing their own guys than you'd expect. A lot more of that.
Oh yeah, no, Eneru was particularly bad about killing his own men.
Yeah, Eneru was like, I mean, of course you kind of saw that was going to happen. Where it's like there are going to be 5 left starting at 81, and you do the math, and it's like, wait, there's 54 on his side, and he's saying there's going to be 5 left. So assuming if they won entirely, he's like, yeah, about 90% of us are going down on this one.
I mean,
like, yeah, that basically. I'm gonna make basically straight up saying, yeah, I'm gonna make that happen.
Yeah, Eneru is basically the epitome of some of you may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yeah, basically. He's also probably the most legitimately insane antagonist in the series.
Well, but it's not even a sacrifice I'm willing to make thing. It's like, some of you may die, and if you don't, well, trust me,
you will.
I'll make sure of it. That's what that was.
So he's kind of even going a step further.
The numbers he gave just screamed that at me. If it doesn't go down that far, I'll put it there.
Which is just terrifying. But also, he is very much a character you love to hate.
Yeah,
which makes the big moment of the arc all the more satisfying with the
tolling of the bell.
Well, no, the full page reaction. I was meaning.
Oh God.
Yes. What are your thoughts about learning that in this one instance, the laws of physics somewhat apply? Logstar?
Well, I mean, we're getting a lot of those where every now and then physics does come into play. Like the gold ball, you come back and it's like, well, yeah, we're actually following physics this time. Those are always satisfying moments. Discharges, always a little satisfying. So, I mean, what else there to say for that one?
I mean, the rubber bit.
Yeah, the rubber too. Yeah, the rubber. I was mainly thinking the discharge one was the one that really got me. Is like, I like that one.
Oh yeah, Luffy nullifying Eneru's second kingdom come with the golden ball was really satisfying.
Yeah.
Because it was Eneru being fucked over by his own dick move from earlier.
Speaking of dick moves, fun little wordplay joke that doesn't translate very well. Luffy called it the Kintama multiple times.
Golden ball, yeah.
Oh God.
Which is
Yeah, I've seen Gintama. I know the joke. Oh God.
Okay, yes. So yeah, that is a. So yes, just imagine Luffy slapping Eneru with his giant molten glowing.
Please stop, Fuzzy. The joke is not funny.
Tell that to Oda, not me.
The joke is not funny when you explain it. It's not funny when you explain the joke.
And you're one to talk.
I think it's less explaining the joke, more mourning the existence of the joke.
That is fair.
No, I can understand that. Yes.
But yeah, Eneru's reaction to Luffy being immune to his attacks is one of the funniest bits in the entire series.
Like it begins a long tradition of face faults.
Yeah, there are a few other similar face faults throughout the series. Usually when a similar thing happens where a character no-sells another character's ability. And it is always...
read something in the newspaper, for example.
Oh yes, that's also... Oda's face faults are really funny, but Skypiea is where we really start seeing him just go nuts with them.
Yeah.
Like, there's another bit towards the end of the arc where the Going Merry is being brought to the edge of Skypiea, and it's like, by the way, be careful at the fall. What fall? And then everyone's that they're just going off a sheer drop, and even the Mary's eyes just pop out in fright.
Which totally isn't foreshadowing of any sort at all.
Stop it. But yes, no, the face faults in this arc are really funny.
Yeah.
Also, I think we asked you what you thought of the supporting cast log star, but I think you only really talked about Gunfall.
Gunfall and Wiper.
Yeah, I forgot. It's like then let's see.
We also get this is our
you get Conus and such. Now that little arc really said something about about the whole structure and what a lot of people are actually thinking about the entire society at the time. So actually, not too much. Well, basically just her. It's almost like I'm leading you. It's almost like I'm leading you to your death here, and just kind of freaking out a little bit over that and becoming a blasphemer. But then again, there's also the fact that to so many other people, she was still the blasphemer afterwards. You get the whole. Some people are buying into it, and everyone else is like, still get quite a population like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though, one of probably the most I don't even know if controversial is the right word for it, but one of the most awkward parts of this arc is the issue where kind of like what's his face kind of just Eneru kind of just gets off scot-free.
I mean, I wouldn't call taking a hefty beating completely scot-free, but he does get off with... He does basically just get to walk away at the end of the arc, getting most of what he wants.
That just does not sit well with me.
To be fair, Fuzzy, I don't think they had any real way to imprison him, and Oda wasn't going to kill Eneru.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you do have to keep those things open also, and sometimes you just... I don't know. I'm the one who likes when sometimes it doesn't go perfectly. It's like no, it really did. This is still open if it ever comes to that. Not closing anything up here. Have fun.
I do appreciate that Oda is keeping the possibility open.
I mean, like, there's like a non-zero chance that the Straw Hats are gonna have to go to the moon at some point, right?
We'll talk about that when we talk about the...
no, that's already been mentioned. Is that's where
I know, but we'll talk about that when we talk about Eneru's cover story detail, because yes, Eneru gets a cover story.
Oh god, that's actually what it was going for?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh, he's actually going to the moon, yes.
Yes, he is actually going to the moon. Like I said, Eneru is legitimately insane.
Yeah, no, he's not like showboating or anything. He just is absolutely stark raving mad.
Yeah, because he has a fucking god complex.
It's not even the god complex, really, that makes him crazy. There's plenty of people with god complexes in this series, and, like, honestly, he's kind of the closest to being justified, because, functionally speaking, he is the most powerful being in his home world, or his homeland.
He's kind of one of the strongest characters in the series. Though he's also wasn't wrong in saying that Eneru is not the strongest person around, and there are plenty of people on the Blue Sea that are stronger than him.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the thing. As we're gonna get a reveal later in the series, whereby it's like, yeah, he would absolutely dominate most of the first half of the Grand Line, but anything in the New World is gonna just, like, raffle stomp him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, well, I know one place you get raffle stomped right off the bat, and that's in naming. Skypiea, you can do better than that. You've had time to plan this out. You can come up with a better name than that. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, he's not the brightest knife in the shed, if you know what I'm saying.
There is also a chance that it was actually a really clever pun, but in Japanese, but didn't translate at all well into
No,
English.
no, it's not that clever in it's not that clever in Japanese either.
Yeah, my assumption would be, at least if it had been clever in the original Japanese, they'd at least make it slightly less dumb in the translation. But maybe that's having too much faith in the translation.
You're having a bit too much faith in the translation, yes.
Most of his attack names translate well because most of his attack names are named after like various thunder deities in different cultures.
Speaking of cool attack names, we got a couple from Zorro.
Oh yeah.
Which even more so don't translate that well.
36-pound Phoenix and 108-pound Phoenix.
Yeah, those are.
Yeah, so they're okay. So basically, the long and the short of it is they're very, very strong Buddhist references.
Yes.
Right, they're references to concepts in Buddhism.
Yeah, the number 108.
All of Zorro's attack
doesn't translate very well.
Pretty much all of Zorro's attack names are either references to Buddhism, food puns, or both.
It's either Buddhism or fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Longstar?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one was 108 again. And you know off the top of your head? Just checking to see if this is one I should know off the top of my head.
108 is something to do with, like, I actually forget, and I'm kind of ashamed of it because I'm the resident Eastern mythology guy. So
yeah, I believe that the 36 is, what is it? Reference to the earthly desires, and then it's just timed by 3 because of how many swords Zorro has. And that's how he gets 108. Yes.
Well, 108 is also a reference to something.
Yeah,
it's also tied into the earthly desires, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I know the 108 itself is supposed to come from the other in mythology.
Yes, it does come up in the mythology. Like 108 itself does come up in the mythology.
Yeah, so the 30, so it just be having the 36 times 3 thing is just like icing on the cake, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it just happened to work out. Not explicitly. That's not the only reason that's a thing.
Oh, okay, fun. Sorry.
I mean, I was just gonna say I am looking up the moves on the wiki.
Yeah.
Okay. One scene I did have fun with. I don't know if I should wait. Well, I'll just say which one it is. We'll see if we should wait for Jack on this one. Just the way Conus kind of gives people the idea that maybe the commie's full of shit. The way the blasphemer in the town square basically, gives them the whole idea.
How do you mean?
Hey, you notice
to elaborate?
You notice he didn't strike me down for that?
Oh,
because he doesn't give a shit. Because he's doing things bigger than us right now, and we're screwed.
Yeah, no, that's a nice little moment there. Yeah, where Conus is very much so. Conus, right, is your introduction. Well, no. You had an introduction. Apis is your introduction to another character archetype. In the same way that you get kind of a princess every arc that the Straw Hats make friends with, you also start getting a small child, usually a little girl, in every arc who the Straw Hats befriend and you wish to protect. Right? Because, like, this really Vivi started the princess trend, and then Conus kind of Apis starts this the other one, which is
Okay, just to go back to
Zoro's.
You also
kind of want to save Isa.
Yeah, just to go back to Zoro's move for a second.
Wait, Apis or Isa? What's her? Apis is the filler character, isn't he?
I believe it's Isa.
Yes. Okay, Apis is the filler character that can talk to animals. My bad. Look, I was in anime
Asa,
only for a while.
Asa.
I was in anime only for a while.
Okay? Yes. So going back to Zora's move, it's what is it? So in Japanese, it's Hyaku Hachi Pondo Ho. Ho both means cannon and phoenix, to create a pun there. The Pondo is a skewed reading of the kanji for the Buddhist term for worldly desires with evil thoughts, and the 108 pounds or 108 is referring to the caliber of a cannon.
Also, it's a fairly important number in Buddhism and Shintoism. I'm fairly sure. I forget why, but I know it's important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Googling that one.
Anyways,
Zoro knows how to name his attacks.
Yeah,
that's what we're trying to get at here.
We should probably talk about the death game and all the different fights that happen within it, because some of those are really fun fights.
Yeah, so I really like Ohm's fighting style, right? He has a really cool fighting style that is kind of a hint at things to come.
It's also a very interesting and unique style for of the different. Well, all of the fighting styles in the Skypiea are pretty unique compared to the rest of the series thus far.
Yeah, because it's very true to life, right? It's a small isolated community that has just developed differently from the rest of the world. It's, oh my god, Skypiea is just Australia.
That would explain a lot about the wildlife.
Right? Skypiea is literally just the Sky Islands in general, which it's a bit awkward, but we do learn later that there are other Sky Islands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Skypiea is just
one of which Enru was born on and then genocided.
Yeah, no, we also kind of glossing over the fact that not only is Enru a maniac, he's literally a genocidal maniac. We don't mean that in any sort of
islands. He also tried to destroy Skypiea.
He didn't even see it as murder, which is kind of just
yeah,
it's very easy. It's almost comical how evil he is, right?
Yeah, almost. But I guess he was going for a side hat trick because he was trying to take out both Skypieans and the Shandians.
And actually, something that just occurred to me, he's one of the few One Piece antagonists that does not at any point have even a slight hint of a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of laughably evil individuals in One Piece, but of the arc villains, all of them get some sort of repeat. That kind of even more suggests
not all of
that,
them. No. There are some exceptions to that, Fuzzy.
Well,
no, at this point, you might be. No, definitely not.
Blue, most of them, right?
No.
Nope. Not Arlong.
Crocodile, even Crocodile, has his moments, right? There's kind of an entire arc.
Not at this point, no.
No, I mean over the course of the series, not
now.
I still say no.
You wouldn't say Crocodile has a bit of a moment in the what saga?
You're also forgetting that most of the East Blue villains don't show up again.
We can get into this off stream when Logstar's not here and we don't have to worry about spoiling him.
Where were we? Okay, so the death games.
I'm just gonna skip with one thing before with the evil and all the murder. Just need to say, even though Ohm had very different motivations, his whole take on, let's just say, it didn't sound like he would have had too much of a problem with Enru murdering everyone. even though it would have been, well, you know, human suffering, well, human frailty. Now it is over. That was that was a fun little monologue.
Yeah, most of the Sky Priests are also kind of insane, but
Kind of.
yes,
Kind of.
Ohm is probably the most out there. No, wait, no, that's Gadatsu.
I was gonna say no.
Gadatsu
You are missing out.
Yeah, that was the whites of the eyes guy, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gadatsu had a really fun fight with Chopper, though. I really love that Chopper got a fight against Gadatsu. Because it was a really fun showcase for Chopper as a character, but it was also just a really funny fight. What with Gadatsu being an idiot for half of it.
Half?
Okay.
Pretty sure
about
Gadatsu never stops being. I'm pretty sure he just never stops being an idiot. He just like becomes slightly more competent at one point.
Yeah.
Doesn't he try and eat with his ear?
Yes. No, that's the cover story.
Yeah, Foxstar, just a quick reminder to consult your notes, because I'm sure you may have forgotten some stuff that you noticed earlier. But, yes.
I've got my notes open. It's just that I have to flip through them a lot, because it's not quite in order, Well, also, I mean, this isn't in order. The notes are.
Skypiea, I believe, also has both the Wapol and the Ace cover stories.
Forget what the Ace cover story entailed.
It's literally just him sticking around trying to find Blackbeard, stumbling upon a marine base, and delivering a letter for the milk girl, Moda.
Yeah.
I don't think I've read that. Like I said, I was an anime only for a while, up until basically the time.
It's not a massively important cover story.
It's not important
for the time
it
being.
It gives more screen time for Ace, which is nice.
I'm sure at some point that little girl will come back.
Maybe. You never know with Oda.
It occurs to me that Ace, has a lot of little sidekick adopted little sister sort of thing, right?
We'll talk about that when it becomes relevant.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
But they are... Ooh.
They're not relevant
600 chapters away?
Yep. 600 chapters.
At least.
I'm sure if we look hard enough, we can find foreshadowing for them.
It's just over 600 chapters from the end of Skypiea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, Logstar, why don't you just go through your notes in order a little bit and, tell us what your impressions are? Because remember, you are our blind... You're basically our litmus test, right? Because,
You're a guinea pig.
Yes.
You're our blind viewer as much as Fuzzy is trying to change that. With his references.
Fuzzy, you seriously do need to tone it down on that.
It's just very difficult to talk about One Piece without talking about, One Piece and all.
I know, but try, please. At least try.
So at which point am I starting on this? Am I going to start with at the point on the challenge?
Why don't you just go through all your notes from the beginning to see if there's anything you forgot to mention?
Yeah, well, basically, man, oh man, you can guess what all the notes about Sanji look like. Just about, you can guess that one.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
they're always.
I think we can.
They're always the ones about Sheen is not onomatopoeia, things like that. I don't know. That one's weird. Kind of like Doom, where I don't think that sound refers. What? I'm sorry.
The Doom thing is more of just an impact thing that.
Yeah, I know. Doing. Yeah, I know. It's that's an odd one to use, but
it's like the one from JoJo's.
Yeah. So.
Go.
So I'm going to start with
I still love that being translated as menacing.
Yes. He's just standing there, menacingly.
Yeah, I mean.
Also, I love Speedwagon withdraws coolly, and I'm very upset that doesn't make it into more mainstream media. Anyway, yes, go on, Logstar.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking about let's see, a lot of the timings. I mean, just how after the little battle with Wiper, how basically the new area Luffy found himself in. That led directly into the snake section, because I didn't see where the transition happened on that one.
So you were having complaints about the pacing occasionally before. I take it some of those are addressed now.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go back even to the challenges or even any of the things like that where, usually when you see 4 of something, you're in most manga, you're gonna see they're going through in order. But I'm just glad how they don't do that, where it's like you might go
One
2 or 3
Piece is actually
down.
really good about.
You might go down 2 or 3 at once, or it might be just like we're just gonna cut this one off right here. I just love how, if there are 11 of something, you're not getting 11 in a row.
Which is, can be a big relief, considering how some other authors like to pace their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, the Endless Farce. Oh, this is a fun one. Just a random note. With the Arc, Maxim. We can get into Maxim, right?
Oh, yeah,
yes, we can totally get into Maxim. Now,
there was one thing there that I found kind of an interesting twist, though I don't know how it would have ended up. When it was down to the last few, and it was more or less, want to come along? Hey, you're the survivors, you're the ones who made it. Hey, what about it? That one struck me as kind of interesting, and the way it looked like when it got down to Nami, how that was actually what was going to happen instead of an "I'm just going to murder you" moment. You are worthy of survival. I found that was an interesting little take.
Okay, yeah, so you're basically just talking about the fact that for all his madness, he does kind of follow his own rules, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's kind of interesting. Is that he's internally consistent madness?
Yes,
is not really something you see very often, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There's also the fact that he is, for all his insanity, fairly intelligent. He knows how to use lightning, and he knows what is a conductor and works with lightning really well.
Yeah, no, he has a decent grasp of physics, especially as far as especially physics in his own in-universe works. He's pretty good at that, right? He has a pretty solid grasp on...
And engineering, because he actually
knows how he built a freaking spaceship! Dude built a spaceship by himself.
Yeah.
I mean, designed it by himself. That was kind of... Yeah,
he does have
he
does have the whole genocidal dictator slave thing going on. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll give you that. He does have the whole slave thing going on.
He also doesn't really have much to do otherwise. How often does he actually have to throw out a lightning bolt?
A lot less often than people are scared of.
Probably once every month or so. Maybe every week.
Yeah, after a few, people probably get the idea. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Something that got me about the location of the bell tower. It was kind of like, gee, I guess after all this time, no one's ever just looked at the top of that. It's like it's been there the whole time. People go up.
Yeah, there's a bit of an idiot ball sort of situation there.
Well, no one had thought to check that area, to be fair.
Yeah, but why didn't they have a thought to check it? Because it's kind of an important area.
Nobody looks up.
Pretty sure Enner Enner also was preoccupied with other things and didn't really consider about the bell tower too much. And we do, and as we see later, people did go up there. Namely, Roger did to inscribe his little thing next to the.
Are we going to talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Well, he's a special case. He went up there, but I think we've determined.
Are we going to talk about the fact that Roger somehow not only is able to speak that language somehow, and understand poneglyphs somehow, despite never having an education in it, and also somehow is able to inscribe on these seemingly indestructible objects? Gloss right over that.
I mean, he's king of the pirates.
We will
what part of being king of the pirates gives him that particular skill set?
We'll find out later how Roger understood the poneglyphs and inscribed next to them, but that's for way off in the future.
So with anything like indestructible or impossible, there is always one layer above that. I don't care how many layers, there is always one above that here, so...
No, that's fair.
The poneglyph is explicitly indestructible, with the exception of specialized... Actually, we'll talk about that when it becomes relevant.
Yeah, there's the layer over it, and I'm sure the thing that, that wouldn't break.
What
There'd
if...
be a layer over it. Infinite chain of levels.
But what if, and stay with me on this, we make Zoro a sword out of poneglyphs?
Oh, that would be fun.
Right?
That is
People are always going on and on about giving Zoro a sea stone sword. Yeah, let's do one better than that. Let's give him a poneglyph sword.
The question is if it could really be molded properly into a sword.
Yeah.
I mean, if it can be carved, I'm sure they could just carve a sword out of it.
Maybe.
Better find a piece where you're not going to piss off Nico Robin if you do it.
No. Yeah. She's fine as long as you like.
Two ancient weapons.
No, the thing about Robin is that, like, she's pretty overall okay with it, because, like, as long as she gets to read it first. She doesn't care about the artifacts themselves, right? She's all about preserving the knowledge. So as long as she can read it and copy it down, she's okay.
At least with regard to the poneglyphs. The other stuff, she's a lot more big on preserving.
No, obviously with ancient artifacts, she's like, yes, she's an archaeologist. She's like
found out the hard way.
She's like Indiana Jones, but even hotter.
Can we talk about her fight with Yama? Because, holy shit, Robin.
Any fight that Robin is in it, any Robin fight is a treat. Let me just say it like that, because she has one of the most interesting and non-traditional power sets in fiction, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, her fighting style is fucking brutal, because pretty much all of her moves are holds or bone breaking moves.
She is she's an assassin. She goes for the one-hit kills whenever possible.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure she just straight up broke Yama's back.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those where calling it a fight really isn't especially accurate.
It kind of is a fight while Robin is trying to defend the ruins, but once she gets out of there, it very quickly turns around.
Yeah.
It's a fight for as long as Robin is not actually trying.
Mm-hmm.
And then she starts trying. And then pain.
Yeah.
Lots of pain.
Mm-hmm.
She is honestly one of the strongest members of the crew. She just doesn't get...
As of this point, yes. If by sheer virtue of the fact that she's an assassin, of course she's stronger. Like, in terms of a straight fight, sure, I guess, like, she might have some trouble with Zoro. Since sharp things are kind of a detriment to her. But, like, as far as assassination goes, I don't think there's really anyone, like... Luffy is probably the only... Luffy hard counters a lot of people, huh? Luffy basically hard counters Robin.
Luffy's straight up immune to anything that isn't like an elemental attack or sharp object, for the most part.
There's even some elemental attacks that she's kind of, like, immune to.
Yeah, true. Like lightning. I also want to talk briefly about some of the other fights that happen in the arc, because Nami gets a fight too. It kind of gets overlooked because it's a 2v2, but Nami gets a fight, which is really fun.
And Nami also has fun fights because there's often just a lot more. There's much more of a strategic layer.
Nami's fights tend to be a lot more. Nami and Usopp tend to have the most strategic fights of the Straw Hats.
Which is understandable because they're the weakest, like, physically.
Yeah. According to Oda, canonically, Usopp will always be the weakest Straw Hat. Which kind of makes sense because he's supposed to be the relatable one and also largely comic relief, but he's also a really fun character, and his fights are always a treat.
Yeah.
Usopp is very much one of those characters who, if you didn't know going in what his gimmick was, you'd kind of not find him as likable. But because his gimmick is like pretty openly put out there, he's just like, yeah, okay, I get it. Right?
Also, it's funny that Nami and Usopp are finding themselves against Enra at one point.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like they
dodging.
I do feel like if they had sufficient time to prepare, especially knowing his weaknesses, I'm pretty sure between them they could figure out a pretty solid plan to like hand him his ass.
Maybe, right? But they did not have time.
Because like just on the basis of the fact, if they knew he was weak to rubber, I'm sure they can figure out a way to. I mean, I can totally see Usopp just walking in with a full body rubber suit, like a rubber hazmat suit, right? Usopp would totally do that, right?
Yeah.
He could make one of these.
It's a matter of supplies, really.
Yeah, and like, because like rubber and basically like electrically neutral, like insulators are kind of necessary on a ship, like just for maintenance purposes. So I'm sure they could whip something together real quick. I would have loved to see that.
Anyway, I know we've been shitting on Sanji a lot this arc, but he does get a pretty cool moment when he takes
sabotages.
Well, first when he takes the lightning blast to the face, using it to light his cigarette, and then fucking sabotaging the ship.
I will also say, like, his one-liner before his little speech before taking out Satsuri was also pretty cool.
Yeah.
And did Sanji? Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's be honest. Intentional or not, that cigarette was gonna light with that attack.
And also, did Sanji get any like new skills or attacks or anything like that this arc?
Don't believe so.
No, he kind of just.
I believe Usopp and Skypiea are the only Straw Hats who don't get their own fight.
But even then, it's kind of just like they served an important purpose anyway.
Yeah,
they do.
It's not really a waste of them as as far as importance goes.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think we talked about a couple of the other. We didn't talk about Ice at all.
We did.
Yes, no. I was saying she is. I believe we talked about her while you were out for a bit,
okay.
Jack. But we talked about how she introduces the adopted little sister archetype that shows in the same way that Vivi introduced the princess tag-along archetype to the arc format.
I do have to say, out of all the tag-along kid characters, I think Oda handles the tag-along kid character a lot better than most other series in that, for the most part, they're not useless, and Aista is a very good example of that.
She does have a horse bird.
Not just that, her mantra also makes her actually kind of important to the plot.
Oh, are we also not just gonna gloss over the horse bird?
Yes.
I forget, is it a horse that ate the bird fruit, or is it a bird that ate the horse fruit?
It's a bird that ate the horse fruit. And honestly, I find it hilarious that we have a fucking Pegasus that looks so horrible.
I mean, yes, it's Oda. What
really
did you expect?
Went out of his way to take all the majesty out of Pegasus.
He does do that a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just generally taking the majesty out of things that are supposedly supposed to be very majestic.
Yep. That's Oda for you.
And hey, even like not just that majesty, that just reminded me of one of the other ones. Taking something sweet and just kind of ruining it a little bit. There was one that actually made me feel bad for laughing at it. The huge dog.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Holy.
Knock yourself out. Oh, it's like party's like, oh, that's great. And the other part's like, oh, poor Whittle. Wait, no, wait. How do I feel about this?
That encompasses a lot of Oda and his style in a nutshell. Is okay. I need to like figure out how I feel about this.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, it's funny, but on the other hand, it's so awful.
Oh, such a good boy. He'll just listen to you and oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least Zoro doesn't like try to slash him up. And at least it was like just knock yourself out, literally.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
almost have to wonder if it's hinting at something.
Yeah, maybe.
Or is it just pure intimidation factor?
Probably intimidation. Zoro's this fucking scary guy.
Zoro is kind of terrifying, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Especially,
I mean, he did basically invent a way that he knows to literally make a sword strike fly.
Yeah, no, we're not even gonna like. Okay, we talked a lot about the wonderful implementation of feasible physics. We're not even gonna touch on how his sword thingy works.
I mean, basically, it's just like an air pressure cannon, except made by a sword.
And also somehow very sharp.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the long and short of it. There is no real physics involved.
I mean, look at like those water jets to cut through everything. That works perfectly well with like the add 6 or 8 or 9 zeros kind of rule.
You know what? You're right. I hadn't considered it from that angle.
Yeah, basically. I mean, Zoro is established to be stupidly strong. What with the whole building at someone in Alabasta.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you know, just like casually cutting down hundreds of people without, like, while drunk, I think?
He was tipsy, but he wasn't drunk.
Yeah.
I do find it hilarious that somehow Nami has a higher alcohol tolerance than Zoro.
Yeah, that is fun and interesting. Also, I have to say, oh shit, we talked about
cirrhosis subplot. Sorry,
we didn't talk about Wiper and his reject dial.
Ah, yes. Okay, so the impact and the reject dials are actually implementations of one of my favorite fictional concepts. Just the idea of that neutral damage attack reflection. I really, really like that, and I don't even know how a reject dial is supposed to work. Right? That's another one of those.
To take a fuck ton of damage and multiply it.
No, but that's the thing, is that it's basically an impact dial, except where an impact dial returns all of the damage exactly, the reject dial returns the damage amplified by 10, and I don't even know how that... How? Why?
Don't know. It's how the dial works, and it is as terrifying as you would think it is, considering that he one-shots Shura with it and nearly kills Eneru with it.
He does legally kill Eneru with it, it's just Eneru kind of gets better afterwards, because he can... Okay, that power is kind of awesome. Right? Like, it's BS, but it's also kind of awesome. It's kind of very similar to Crocodile, isn't it? Right? Crocodile also has that level of mastery where he just has his intangibility on at all time, or like he can activate it on reflex, so it even when he's asleep he can just no-sell a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah, Eneru is a very skilled user of his Devil Fruit. But
God, can you imagine if Eneru learned like how to be competent as opposed to an idiot? Like, just his fruit. Eneru is honestly, like, even though he's really good at using his fruit, he's also kind of an example of this is a terrifying fruit that is nerfed by its wielder.
Not quite to the degree as Buggy, but yeah.
Not to the same degree as Buggy, yes. Like, it's very hard to have a fruit as terrifying as Buggy's fruit while being as stupid as Buggy. Like, that's a... I don't think anyone other than Buggy is capable of replicating that feat, but it is still really, really scary, right? Like, the idea of giving someone who can actually, like, use the lightning fruit to its full potential, like, I don't even want to think about that almost, because it's just like, it's...
I mean, in fairness, I mean, he did use it really well. It was just the fact that facing fucking Luffy.
No, not even that. It's just that he used it well, but, like, he was not nearly as ruthless as he could have been or efficient as he could have been with his other stuff, right? So it's almost like it's not about the fruit itself, but how effective he is as an antagonist, right? Because like, in the hands of someone who is like also a lot has like less hang-ups or compulsions, or yeah, compulsions is actually a good word for it. In the hands of someone who's more ruthlessly efficient and less crazy, it just becomes even more terrifying, right?
I mean, we'll see next arc what a truly efficient Loja looks like. But we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Well, not even in the next. Oh, yes, in the next arc. Not even the. I thought you meant the next episode.
No, but yeah. What was I gonna say? Shit. Oh, there's also just the absolute absurdity and absurd amazingness of Luffy just being able to no sell like 90% of Eneru's abilities just because he's rubber.
Yeah.
And
I
like, think there's also something very like this is the first time we've actually seen an antagonist actually take Luffy seriously enough to like think of counters, because like we're actually starting to get to the point, because Crocodile, absolutely the only reason he lost to Luffy is because he didn't take him seriously, right? We're agreed on that, right?
Yes.
Partially that, and partially just because he lost his composure towards the end.
He lost his composure because he initially didn't take him seriously and got frustrated when he was proven wrong.
Yeah.
No, he takes him seriously and even devises a counter to it. Like, he does think on the fly and figure out, okay, you're immune to my elemental attacks and you're immune to bludgeoning, but that means you have a vulnerability to sharp things.
Yep.
Right? Like, he very calmly logics out that, okay, it's not that you're like immune to damage. You're immune to bludgeoning and lightning, but that means I can still stab you. Yeah. And then he does stab him.
And he also figures out that Luffy can be burnt by the hot metal that he does chase.
Yes. So he's immune to just the electricity proper, but he's not immune to temperature.
Still, Luffy is overall Eneru's natural enemy. You could say that he's God's natural enemy, actually.
And who is making references
I
to things
I
in the
was
future
gonna
now?
say, come on, Jack.
I'm sorry, I had.
No, you didn't.
Okay, that's fair. But I do appreciate the whole thing with Luffy being a natural counter to Eneru, and it just working so well with.
I do kind of find it hilarious that God is just kind of like a title. Like, it doesn't really mean much. It's literally just it's an elected official.
Yeah.
God is like, until Eneru came around and had an actual God complex, God was just an elected official. And I find the idea of that, I feel like that's something that you could use in another work of fiction just for the very funny effect.
Okay. I also do have to say, we gotta talk about the Nolan flashback too at some point.
I just like to bring up one thing in the little Luffy in that little fight, the little Eneru fight.
Mm-hmm.
So you go into the dumb strats yet?
Oh yeah, Luffy mastering Ultra Instinct before Goku did.
Yeah, no, Luffy's strategy of, well, if you can read my mind, then I just have to stop thinking. It's a common enough trope, right? But like, Luffy has an easier time with it than most. Out of his default state.
And of course, that leading up to the okay, if just blanking out means I can't do anything, then how about just do things that basically randomize my attacks?
Yes, I really like that's a very, very clever counter, actually, right? Like,
just straight up ricocheting his attacks.
Yeah, so the idea, the fact that he thought of that is kind of like, it shows that Luffy is an idiot. He is an idiot, but he's also a savant when it comes to fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally the only thing he's legitimately good at besides making friends and eating.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the idiot, and then it's like, it seems like something comes from under the surface every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, Luffy is very much the poster child for hidden depths.
And just to be clear, he's definitely an idiot. When he and Nami were in the snake together, he goes to look for her, mistakes a nearby skeleton for her because they happen to be wearing similar clothing, and then tries to wake her up.
Yeah.
Look, he's a very special child.
Yeah.
We love him very much, but he is not the brightest knife in the shed.
And if I make the comparison, yeah, I can't believe I actually put this in my notes. The dumb strats thing. The phrase that came to mind with that one was "heart of the cards."
You did kind of use the heart of the cards there. You're not wrong.
Oh, I do have to say though, as I said, we need to talk about the Nolan flashback because it's
very tragic. It really begins
tragic. It's quite possibly one of the most tragic flashbacks we've gotten. It's
like
the most tragic one we've gotten so far, at least.
And it's probably Nolan is one of the most tragic characters in One Piece, period.
Yeah, because his death ultimately paints him as a laughingstock.
Yeah, no, he kind of like got screwed even in like he had a tragic enough life, but even in he didn't even get like a good death, right? Like
legacy is forever tarnished by an asshole king who
which is just like really makes it satisfying that we're for the most part Luffy and Crow are in a very eat the rich sort of mindset.
Yeah.
Though they do get pretty rich at points.
I will say though, I do love that Luffy is on a roll of just decking tyrants in the face.
Yeah. Though I think
would be.
I think saying that they get rich is probably a good segue into the end of the arc and then the next arc.
Oh yeah, I got. It's funny as hell that that the Skypians actually try to gift them more gold than they already had, and they run away thinking that they were trying to stop them stealing the gold.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna get this. It's like yeah.
There's that singular brain cell going missing again.
They kind of did have it coming on that one though. It's like, okay, we're just gonna steal all their stuff. It's like, sorry, that cost you.
The one time they engage in legitimate piracy, it backfired.
Yeah.
Really, they should know better, right? Like they really learn at that point. It's just like, you know what? Maybe we should just stick to like maybe this we're not built out for this like actual piracy thing. We should just stick to just sticking around and like seeing where that takes us.
So, though admittedly, Usopp and the rubber bands. Oh, you total. That is just cruel, man. It's like,
it's also a very intelligent business decision.
Yeah, but that is just so.
I mean, also, in fairness, like it's a really rare material for them.
It is true. They don't have it, so it's kind of just
do not have rubber in Skypiea. So Usopp giving them rubber for something that they had an abundance of is a fair trade in their eyes.
Yeah.
It tastes a bit too much like Christopher Columbus's antics, if you know what I'm saying.
At least in Usopp's case, it's mostly.
Usopp is doing it like he's like it's okay that he's doing it kind of because like he did also save them from genocide, so I feel like he has a bit of leeway there. Like he was not directly, but he's part of the crew that saved them from literal genocide.
Yeah.
Speaking of genocide, I think we're ignoring a bit of an elephant in the room with regard to the whole conflict between the Skypians and the Shandians.
Yeah, they did kind of have a whole brutal race war thing going on for a while, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how to put it as to how well Oda handles the whole
Not great. Like he's very much still learning how to do more important, like more political stuff. I think. I don't think he's
later on. Yet. I do feel like this.
He definitely does. Like everything post time skip is glorious, but like he does have kind of he's learning.
Yeah.
The thing.
Still, I do think like it's handled better than it could have been because it's like this is very much shown as them taking the first steps towards healing and not all the animosity under the bridge, but it's still very clear that everyone involved at this point is willing to work to put the hatred past behind them.
Oh yeah, I mean,
try to fix the problems that were caused by their respective ancestors.
Oh yeah, that's the good one. I mean, I also like. I mean, I brought this one up before, like with Ganfor, when there was a whole "I was so close," and it's pretty clear when you look at it, no, you weren't. I do like the fact that it was like it wasn't quite on the edge of anything going right anyway. Just the uncertainty that was there the entire time, instead of being like, well, this, like, no, it's maybe not, you know?
He was trying very much to make peace, but it wasn't going to happen with the way things were at that point in time.
Oh, definitely. Just the fact that we know that him being sure about it, yeah, he shouldn't have been so sure about that one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Still, Enderu coming along ultimately helped out with that.
I mean, yeah, you could probably make an argument that in terms of sheer lives lost, Enderu might have decreased the number overall.
In the long term, anyways.
In the long term, yeah, no. He definitely killed a lot of people. Right? He killed way too many people.
I do find it hilariously ironic that he inadvertently ended a race war. But by sheer fact of him being such a colossal dick that everyone else hated him more than they hated him.
Yeah, no, it's more like, it's not that he ended a race war, it's that he started a race war in which it was him versus everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, the fact that he was powerful enough to start a war with him being the sole combatant on the other side speaks volumes of how crazy strong he is.
So that's really kind of just a thing that happens pretty regularly in One Piece.
Yeah.
This is very much a world where numbers will not always win, right? This is very much a world where one individual can turn the tides of an entire war.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see that more later, too. But
we've seen it now. I mean, like, even Luffy has been that individual at this point, right? Like, Luffy and Crocodile are great examples, right? Crocodile single-handedly conquered a country, and Luffy single-handedly freed it.
Yeah. Basically.
Like, there were, like, rebels and stuff, but let's be real. I don't think there would have been too much of a difference if the rebels hadn't been around. Like, let's be real. As long as Luffy puts it in his mind to, like, you know, eat the rich are gonna get eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd rather eat meat, but the rich are a nice second prize.
They're also meat.
Yes, the rich are also meat. Oh, God, if Luffy ever decided to become a cannibal, he would be freaking terrifying.
Anyways, now that we've thoroughly exhausted what we can talk about with Skypiea, let's move on to Davy backfight, because
everyone's favorite arc.
Honestly, it's not a good arc for the most part. Well,
it's like
relative to One Piece's standards.
So this arc is so bad that I thought this was an anime-only filler arc.
I mean, it might as well be.
Anime did add extra filler onto it.
But if you could have
anime. Look, yes, go ahead, Mil.
If you could have filler in the source material, this is as close as you can get to it.
Like, I'm gonna be honest. There's filler arcs in the anime that are worse than this arc.
Mean better or worse?
Better than this arc, yes.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Is the example I've heard brought up.
There is okay. Even going by what Oda has said, and as we've said, Oda tends not to lie when he answers stuff like this. According to Oda, the only thing that really has a long-term effect on the story in this arc is Aokiji.
Yeah.
He's barely even part of the arc. You could even make an argument that he's actually part of the next arc rather than this arc.
Aokiji clearly shows up in the last 5 chapters of the arc and shakes everything up.
He beats the crap out of everyone, yes.
We'll say that especially sucks because I was like, okay, the only thing that's going to redeem this is if this one thing comes back sometime, and knowing it's probably not going to come back kind of takes that off the table entirely.
One thing.
Well, I was mainly thinking if there's any way to, if they're ever going to play with, like, exactly how loyal anyone traded off of one of these is going to be.
Oh, and especially since the idea of, like, the crew... Yeah, no, the thing is, if it was, like, in a more high-stakes scenario, I'm sure you could figure something out along those lines. But like because it's just so low impact and so low stakes, it's kind of just like
Yeah, it was just hoping. It was just hoping at least maybe if it comes back, it'll be like, okay, now there is a reason for it to exist. Thank you. But okay, without, there's no reason for it to exist. Cool.
The reason is Oda needed to fill some time before he finished outlining the Aokiji fight.
Yeah.
I think that's basically it.
I will say, though, I do find it hilarious that Oda eventually revealed some backstory on Foxy, that he used to be a professional boxer.
Yeah.
Which explains a lot, really.
Then he realized that
was a professional boxer, but he eventually got booted out of the boxing ring because he cheated by bringing a weapon in. But he decided to become a pirate after finding out about what a Davy back fight was.
And also, he has photons, apparently.
Yeah.
No one has discovered.
Undiscovered, yes, undiscovered. But, you know, again, we're stretching the term of undiscovered if he knows about them.
Mm-hmm. Foxy has what is in theory an incredibly broken devil fruit.
Yeah, no. Again, another perfect example of obscenely broken power that is only not broken because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
He's kind of creative in its usage, but at the same time, he's such a dumbass that he doesn't really
I will
use
say,
power to its full
I will
potential.
say, you are wrong. It's not. That is not the only reason it's relevant. Like, Aokiji is not the only relevant thing. There is one single gag that happens maybe 200 or 300, like 400 chapters later that is really funny, that is related to the Davy back fight. This arc.
What?
I'm not gonna say spoil what it is, obviously, but it's just a very funny gag, I think.
One of the things I'm gonna remember about this arc will be A, the disappointment that they're not actually gonna do something good with it, and B, a few random jokes that I've written in notes.
Why don't you share those jokes with us?
Share?
Well, I mean, one of the things is just the entire idea of, with nuking the ref, how, even though it would be too dark, the next One Piece could be every island on the Grand Line, except the last one, because he doesn't go there, gets one piece of that ref.
Okay, yes, I understand.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I get the irritation with the ref because he was annoying.
Of course, I mean, actually, there's one other thing that came to mind. That was not the joke thing, but I did get things on where people's loyalties are at times, where it's like Chopper and Zoro comparing, where it's like suck it up versus oh my god. It's like okay, we see where where relatively their takes on the code stand.
I do think Zoro's speech to Chopper is one of the few good moments of the arc.
Yeah,
honestly,
because
it's basically like Zoro telling Chopper that that a real man sticks by his convictions and doesn't whine about how it's someone else's fault when his own decisions lead to him being in a bad situation.
Yeah.
You know who you want to stand by, though. I mean, I still chalk that up as an L for Zoro, and we know what an L plus Zoro is, right?
Don't you fucking dare.
They're both
already did.
He already did, and the thing is, it's just like we need to figure out some way of getting back at them because we have no counters at this point.
Hey, it took me until getting to the end to be like, oh, I've got one this time, and they'll pick this.
To be fair, yes, at least you tried. So yeah.
There is also there is also another very good thing from this arc. Afro Luffy.
Cannon? Oh yes,
Afro Luffy is funny as hell.
Afro Luffy.
It'd bring Logstar to tears.
And just the fact that everyone but Nami is like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. Even Robin yeah, even Robin was like, yeah, this is actually pretty great.
Robin and Nami. I kind of want to talk about now that we've had a few arcs to get used to Robin. Like, do we want to like go over like some of the compare and contrast between Robin and Nami? Because I feel like there's a lot of interesting things to pick apart there.
One of my favorite things is that Robin has a very morbid sense of humor, while Nami is a coward, and that plays off. Those two play off each other really in really funny ways sometimes.
Very much, Robin is very much more active about everything, but she's also she kind of is a bit sillier at times, huh?
She's a lot more low key though. Like Nami is also extremely temperamental, while Robin is cool headed.
Yeah, no, Nami sometimes just has no chill.
Yeah.
One thing that came to mind, little comparison, because at the end, you know, Aokiji was basically like, watch out for Nico Robin, right?
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I was looking at it, just thinking about it. Right now, I would probably trust Nico Robin more than Nami right now. Just putting it out there with certain things.
Really?
That's interesting.
I mean,
are you still not over the whole she stole their ship thing?
No, it still sounds like she has, you know, like the mixed priorities basically. The thing is, if you look at why every group attached to Nico Robin has basically been destroyed, that's because her whole thing's been she wants the poneglyph. She's interested in that. That's what she's going for. Period. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This crew's all in on that. So if anything, they're perfectly safe because they're on the same page there. They're willing to play along on that one. She doesn't have to play any games to get what she wants off this.
That is true. Usually she has to like manipulate them, but they're just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. We all kind of just do our own thing. So if that's your thing, go for it.
It's like, that sounds fun. Let's all do it. It's like, okay, so I don't need to screw with you to get this? Sweet.
Funny thing is also that up until Aokiji brings it up, none of the Straw Hats really care to ask Robin about what her past is.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they just at this point assume that she has some sort of tragic backstory because that's kind of everyone except that's kind of the thing of everyone except Luffy so far that we know of at this point in the series. Yeah. Everyone we've met so far has some sort of horrifically tragic backstory.
Even the goddamn whale has a tragic backstory.
The whale has a more tragic backstory than the main character.
Yeah.
The whale has a more tragic backstory than Usopp.
I mean, Usopp's backstory is that he has a deadbeat
pretty
dad.
tragic, yeah.
It's tragic, but in a much more mundane way than basically anyone else.
Yeah, but, like, I am never going to have any sympathy for Yasopp, because, like, I'm sure he could, like, get Marco in or something, right? Like, they're on good terms with, like, other famous doctors. They know where certain individuals are. Like, just, like, there was no need for him to, like, let his wife die.
I mean,
we're pretty sure that he didn't even know she was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is not a good thing.
It doesn't make it much better, but...
No, it doesn't. At least it explains why he didn't bring in a famous doctor.
I'm sure if he had, like, even mentioned it to Shanks, Shanks would have turned the entire ship around that very moment and gone on, like, some sort of world-scouring quest to find a cure.
Yeah,
right? Shanks is that sort of guy. Shanks is, like, on Luffy levels of, my crew is my family.
Yeah, but it just that whole...
He literally taught Luffy that.
Yeah, but that whole exchange just made me think of, I think it's the Community meme, like, that's worse. You get how that's worse, right? It's just, oh yeah, that is worse that he didn't even know about it to get a doctor in, but...
Just like, I will never, if Yasopp dies a tragic death, the only reason I'm going to feel bad is if Usopp has to go through that again.
Also, like, how old was Usopp when his mom died?
Like,
I think like 6.
Okay, so
he was in it. He wasn't even 10 yet.
Yeah, where's the child support, right? Like,
I was just thinking of
lived in poverty.
I was just thinking of ways to make it worse. Like, what if it happened while Shanks and his crew was at Luffy's island?
Oh my god, that is actually timing actually adds up. Oh, you're right. The timelines add up because like Usopp is older than Luffy.
How old? Usopp is 18, right? At this point?
They're the same age then, but Luffy was also around that age. So there is a non-zero chance that while Yasop was partying with Luffy, his wife was dying and his son was becoming an orphan.
Yep.
Oh god, that's awful.
Like, okay, I think it's official. I think Yasop is the most hateable non-villain character in the series. Right?
We'll have to revisit that when it becomes more relevant later. But I will. Let's talk about Aokiji real quick because we do need to talk.
Okay,
about
was
Aokiji.
the fight in this?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
stopping the Straw Hats.
Yeah, this is another one of those where it's surprisingly enough in the opposite direction, and this is really kind of like not that usual for shonen. Is that you get the occasional Worf effect, but usually they just immediately afterwards like go and beat up the guy again, right?
Yeah.
Not so in this case.
Yeah, Aokiji is one of those characters who, like Mihawk a little while before him, is very near the power ceiling of the world.
Yeah, no, and like one of. Do we get the breakdown of the Admiral system?
Yes, we do. We get the breakdown that there are 3 admirals plus the Fleet Admiral Sengoku above them, plus
Commander-in-Chief of the
Gorosei. Yeah.
But yeah, so he is literally in the top 5 strongest members of the world government.
Yeah.
Or at least the Marines. They're functionally speaking, they are the world government. So
yeah, he's one of the 5 strongest Marines. If you include a certain character who he mentions also.
Yes. Well, he's one of the 5 strongest by rank. There's one other individual who intentionally kind of sandbags a little bit because he's too lazy to actually get the promotion.
Yeah. Yeah, there's only 3 admirals, and this guy's one of them, and they are all crazy strong.
And it's very much one of those situations where, yeah, no, Luffy and Co are not just gonna go and raffle stomp him 3 chapters later, right? They're nowhere near the level they need to be. And it shows, right? He doesn't even use any named attacks.
He uses one named attack.
He uses one named attack.
The fucking ocean.
Yeah, no, he doesn't use any named attacks on them. He just uses, like...
Oh, no. He does use that one named attack to make an ice saber, but that's it.
He doesn't even use that to its full potential. He kind of just, like, sends it out there.
Yeah.
He's also... we also, based on the thing with the people, we get the indication that he's very much one of the not moral absolutists. Like, he's one of the good guy Marines in the vein of Smoker, right? Who seems to be willing to look the other way occasionally. I mean, he lets them live.
Yeah.
Is the thing, right?
Well, that's partially because he took up Luffy's offer to go one-on-one. And while he's not certain, and neither is the audience, if Luffy actually thought he could win that, he decides to stick to the letter of the agreement to just fight Luffy and not go after his crew.
Again,
I would find it hilarious if Luffy thought he could actually beat Aokiji, though.
I think he did. I think Luffy was still at a point where he did not know how big the world was, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Right? Because Luffy didn't really have any of his eye-opening moments of any sort, right? He kind of was just like...
Well, he kind of did with Crocodile kicking his ass.
Kind of, but the fact that he beat Crocodile kind of just reinforced more bad habits.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the I'm just getting the feeling so far. It's like the eye-opening moments are like not for the next few months, not like it may never happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
Aokiji is absolutely a wake-up call for the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for most Luffy, I don't know. I just get the idea that Luffy might still be putting him in a soon enough category instead of a distant.
Yeah, it is possible
category.
that he's like he hasn't comprehended the full scope, because like if he thinks that this is all Aokiji's got, he's got another thing coming.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, also just the fact that we find out like more details about Robin, and this basically just the very first thing Robin does upon seeing Aokiji is freak the fuck out, which goes to show you just like she was previously basically unflappable for most of her screen time before this. So seeing her absolutely just collapse to the ground in utter fear is a very good indication of just how
we don't have to wonder why for long.
No, we don't. But at the same time, like, it's a very good way of establishing that this guy is bad news for the Straw Hats.
He's just an absolute dom, is the thing.
No? Bad news that luckily just seems to be playing true neutral, so.
He is, yeah, he's closer to true neutral. No, he's closer to neutral good, I'd say, because he seems like he just
he
I don't know.
Just does not give a fuck most of the time, but he doesn't take his job seriously.
His brand of justice. Every unique person, every Marine has their own unique brand of justice. Every important one, anyway. And his is literally called lazy justice.
Yeah.
That's his entire thing. Is his identity is built on being lazy.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's kind of my spirit animal right there. Also, can we talk about the fact that he has probably one of the more overpowered devil fruits on the sole basis that he hard counters one of the only two weaknesses of devil fruits that we know of so far?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's insanely terrifying. He does not have to ever worry about drowning.
Yeah, he can just freeze the water. Which there's very, very few very, very few devil fruit users that don't have to worry about drowning. Though there is a kind of a caveat to that in some ways, which we haven't come into yet. But theoretically, you should be able to guess, right, Logstar?
Which one would this be? I was too busy I'm too busy thinking about things like, oh, and if he doesn't want to freeze the water, he can just use his little water bicycle. So that was.
I do love his little water bicycle, right?
That is really funny.
Yeah,
it's such a cute way of like him using his powers to like you, and compare and contrast. Smoker has this like cool like biker, like hardcore biker bike sort of deal, and he's just got like a bicycle.
Yeah, it even has a little bell on it.
Yeah, and he rings the bell too. He's like he very much follows the rules of the road, even when he's on the open ocean with a bicycle. Because apparently
that man has no fear.
And apparently, is like he is strong. He has the strength and stamina, like the physical strength and stamina necessary to pedal across oceans on a bicycle.
And it's apparently easy enough for him to actually like do it, because if it was too hard, I can't see him thinking this isn't worth it. But the fact that he's actually doing it means that, you know, it's simple enough that the lazy bastard that he is doesn't care about it.
Yeah, he doesn't even like it doesn't even cost him any effort, is what he's implying with that.
Yeah,
which is kind of terrifying in hindsight.
Yeah.
Like there's a good chance that he could probably have done the same thing he did to the monster trio without even using his devil fruit powers. Right?
Yeah, there is a very good chance.
Just on raw stats alone.
Yeah. But that would have taken effort.
Yeah.
Yes, instead of that would have taken effort instead of, you know, just like
Aokiji is also a great example of how tall people can get in One Piece. And still be human.
Yeah, he is a long boy.
Let's see. Like I do have his page on the wiki open. 298 centimeters, 9'9".
Yep, that tracks.
And like the funny part is, for the most part, they're not even like large as children, right? They're normal sized children who just grow faster or for longer. There's only one exception to that. There is one exception to that.
Yes.
Which I still wonder about how that physically happened. How? Right? We'll get to it later, but we're actually getting into it soon enough, right? There's only 2 more arcs between. Well. Oh right, there's a Marineford between them and now. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm like wondering if we can even fit Marineford into one episode.
We'll see.
We kind of have to. It'll probably just be a long episode.
Like Aokiji, he's a long boy.
Aokiji is also really lanky looking.
He is like, he's long, but like I feel like just he has to have a decent bit of muscle under there, right?
Yeah, it's probably lean muscle, unlike fucking Whitebeard who looks fucking yoked.
No, Whitebeard is like ripped, right? Like, how old is Whitebeard right now? He's like 76, right? 78.
Dude's old.
Let's see. Whitebeard. 72. I'm pretty sure he's
still old.
Yeah, still old.
And considering the fact that he is literally considered the strongest individual on the planet. Yeah, okay, 72 is pretty old for being the strongest individual on the planet.
Keep in mind that this is also a man who has lived a long life of piracy and drinking. And he's somehow still
near
extremely
constant
strong.
Battle. Like, let's not forget the near constant combat.
Yeah. He has lived a hard, rough life, and he is still in that. He is still buff as hell and the strongest man alive.
Yeah.
I think we have determined that livers are very strong in that world.
Yeah, I think they just maybe they just don't have livers. Maybe their bodies just process it all naturally.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I just like so Lockstar, what are your thoughts on Aokiji and the call it polite, to be polite about it, fight?
Just very quickly, so I don't think it ever really gets addressed in the actual manga. The admirals have titles rather than names. So Aokiji is not actually his name. It means the blue pheasant.
They're named after Momotaro's first 3 companions in the Tale of Momotaro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So
Aokiji
blue pheasant, red dog, and yellow monkey.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, those are titles. Their actual names are revealed later.
Yeah. Just something I wanted to point out.
Also, fun fact: they're based on Japanese silent film era actors that Oda really likes.
Their appearances are all based off of that.
Yes.
So, Aokiji is modeled after Yusaku Matsuda. I mean, I personally have no idea, but you know.
I'm sure he was in something by Kurosawa.
Cult TV series Detective Story.
Huh.
Oh, I was off on that.
Anyways, let's get Logstar's thoughts real quick on Aokiji and his whole appearance.
Well, I mean, one of the things you probably have noticed is that I don't put as much into the fight parts as everything else, because I think the other parts are the juicier ones. But I mean,
you're not alone in that, actually. There's a lot of people who much prefer One Piece for the more story relevant stuff.
I mean,
story in the world building.
Certainly,
more than anything else, it did give the whole idea of the character well. Just the fact where it's like, well, technically, none of you could do anything. You would be dead in 3 seconds. You get where he does want to see what's going to unfold. He has the whole smoker sort of thing going on, just with more murder ability. You definitely do get that much off of that.
Yeah.
That's I mainly went for the I was mainly looking at the more plot things. Though in this case, just knowing that he is made of pure murder does help to drive all that home.
Yeah.
He do be good at that murdering, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do it very often, unless he's pushed to it.
I do appreciate that the series just completely averts the idea that freezing is harmless.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
oh yeah. I really like that moment
solid,
with
and they are at risk of dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, where Chopper is like, oh, they're gonna get hypothermia. And to be fair, they did have like that's kind of Chopper's introduction, really, is that acknowledging the fact that hypothermia does in fact hurt.
No, not hypothermia. Fucking frostbite.
Oh yes, and frostbite, right?
Yeah.
Right, I forgot that that's a thing that happens. Which, considering the fact that I live in Canada, I really shouldn't forget that.
Mm.
Yeah, no, but he's basically like, we need to get these guys thawed off, or they are going to die.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was looking at the freezing, and I was just imagining, the whole thing where it's like the flash freezes, where it's like, hey, we might be able to do cryogenics if we just, like, freeze people all in one shot, even though it's probably crap. For some reason, I was just thinking about that, where it's like, yeah, it's probably like that kind of freeze. Not a normal freeze right there. Probably one of them where it's like, not even enough time to do damage, really. Just frozen.
True, but over time it does cause damage, right?
Mm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. It's a dot.
It's just the whole taking a few zeros off, right? The difference between like flash freeze and like the slower freeze that ruptures cells. Just add a few zeros to the flash freeze and it all works out. Remember, adding or subtracting zeros. Good rule.
Mm.
Yep.
It is a very good rule of thumb with all things anime, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Aokiji makes a really strong first impression, and the fact that he's like by his own admission, he was not even trying.
Oh yeah.
That's terrifying, but also it's not only terrifying because of like just him, it's also terrifying in what it represents, because he's apparently there's two more guys who are at least as strong as him, and then there's at least one or two that are stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's on the Marine side, and that's the people that kind of want to kill all the pirates. Well, Some of them want to kill all the pirates. Some of them just want to, protect the people. Which I feel like Marines really need to take a bit of a...
Defund the Marines.
Right?
Marines need to make like Aokiji and take a chill pill.
AMAB.
Yep.
Something, hashtag not all Marines.
But bottom line, the end of the Davy backfight arc
is the only part that's important, and it's very important.
Hell, we haven't even really talked about fucking the fucking dude who like started this arc, the dude who was like trapped but on his own.
Oh yeah, Tanjit.
I forgot Tanjit existed.
I certainly forgot his name.
Only relevant at the beginning and end of the arc.
Yeah.
Even then, he's barely relevant at all.
He's just a nice side character. And his horse is basically a shout out to that damn dog that makes me cry every time I think about the story.
Old Yeller?
No, the dog that stayed. What's her name? I think it was Sachiko.
Oh God! Why did you make me think of that?
Because you made me elaborate.
Yeah, but I didn't. There's a lot of tragic dog stories. Like there's a disturbing compunction of people killing dogs in fiction because it's an easy emotional gut punch. I hate it.
Araki really loves doing that.
We don't talk about that, please.
We are going to have to talk about JoJo at some point. You know this, right?
No, we're gonna.
Can we at least wait until I've read part 4?
Yes, we'll wait.
Can we make Logstar also go through? He's never read JoJo's too, so we can theoretically do the same thing we're doing with One Piece.
Okay. We'll wait until after we finish the One Piece catch up.
Yeah, so let's cover One Piece first, because I don't think I want to subject him to that.
Let's just shelve JoJo until after One Piece.
That's a good start. Though, let me just say, that one island, part of me just thinks that Oda probably just had this this little notebook read every now and then and just draw the really long animal. He's like, it's got to go somewhere. This is solid gold. It's got to go somewhere. Only thing I can think of.
No, that is absolutely what Oda did.
That is 100%, 1,000,000% that is what Oda's entire modus operandi is.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. I'm sure Oda just spends like hours every day giggling to himself about stuff that he does that is potentially going to make the fan base go nuts.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he has to. I would.
Anyway, I think that is pretty much it for
I think we're about tapped, yeah.
But yeah, next month we will be talking about a really fun time in the Water 7 saga, which is
oh, that's when you're introduced to the real high class A5 stakes, if you know what I'm saying.
It hits the fan in that saga, and it's going to be a fun ass time.
Yeah.
No one? Rockstar at least acknowledge.
I mean, hey, you saw the picture. I mean,
I saw the picture, and I wish you had. I almost wish you hadn't shown me the picture because it just makes me like want it.
Anyways, but yeah, that does it for this stream. Thank you all for tuning in and watching.
I am disappointed in you guys though.
Oh?
You didn't notice Panda
didn't
Man.
Find Panda Man?
Oh, damn it.
I didn't even look for Panda Man. Hang on, I'm gonna.
You have to. I'm gonna make that a condition. Look for Panda Man every One Piece stream because I will.
I see him. I see him.
Well, yeah, because now I've fucking blown him up. Yeah.
No. I
saw him right before you did that.
I saw him right before you blew it up because there's a stream delay.
Anyways, thank you all for watching. Tune in next week when we talk about Gotcha Hell.
Oh boy.
And I'm also going to be joining in that because I'm planning on getting into Genshin Impact a little bit.
Please don't.
Oh boy.
It's not worth it, man.
I mean, what I've heard, Genshin Impact is just a fun game.
Anyways, let's that does it for today.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mill.
Thank you.
Thank you, Logstar, for putting up with us making you read this, even though I'm guessing that you're actually like really like into this by now, right? Like you're invested.
Well, yeah, I'll keep reading it. Yeah. Usually I don't read manga, but yeah, I'm up for it. Yeah. So
yeah, because like it's just like One Piece is almost transcendent manga, right? Like it's just a good story, agnostic of its medium. And with that lovely note, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.
bye.